Welcome to my office. Yeah, I do have a plushy pink chair. And yes, this is where I dry my clothes.
Do we have a problem with my office?
The Italian... Well, I need my microphone. Where's my microphone? Now, the Italian Grand Prix. Formula One went back to Monza last week. This was the last chance to put a stop to Red Bull's domination and stop them from beating their own record that they set up with Sebastian Vettel about 10 years ago of 9 wins in a row. Now, Ferrari had, for once, the right setup. They actually had a low downforce, high top speed car, and they had a good chance, even out-qualifying Red Bull.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
For, I think, the first time in the past 8 races, where Carlos Sainz slapped it in pole position.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Making Verstappen sit in P2 for the first time in God knows how long. And they actually had a decent chance at keeping him there. Now, Sainz did a good job by keeping Verstappen behind. He is the driver who has led the most laps, aside from Verstappen, this season, with 15 laps. The first 15 laps of Monza, we were seeing magisterial defending from Carlos Sainz. He was putting a stop to Red Bull, he was putting a stop to Max Verstappen, and we loved it. Or I loved it. Most people loved it, because guess what? We are tired of seeing Verstappen win. It didn't make a difference. So after Sainz kept him behind for 15 laps, Verstappen overtook him, and he went on to build the gap. And 52 laps later,
Max Verstappen wins 10 Grand Prix in a row! What?
Red Bull have 15 wins in a row.
What the fuck?
Albon finished P7, and he created a DRS train the whole race because nobody was able to overtake him because apparently he is the master of a defense. Hell, if Thailand ever go to war, they know who to call. Call Alex Albon, even though he's actually British. Perez qualified P something, and he went on to climb the whole field, and he finished in P2. Now, this must have stung for Tifosi and Ferrari, considering Red Bull got a 1-2 and Ferrari got a 3-4 at Ferrari's home in Monza. The Tifosi were obviously not happy. Now, that wasn't it. It wasn't a boring Grand Prix. The rest of the race, we got something amazing. We got to see Ferrari fans shit themselves for 5 laps in a row because Charles Leclerc did not want to sit P4. He wanted to be in that podium. He wanted to be recognized. He wanted attention. And so, he went on to fight Carlos Sainz for 5 laps in a row in what I believe is some of the best battles this whole season, because for 5 laps in a row, Charles Leclerc almost sent it into the back of Carlos Sainz, even overtaking him off the track. But still overtook him and had to give the spot back. But it's some of the best racing I have seen the whole season. I loved every second of those last 5 laps. It was great to see. Even though I had to ignore the first 2 because, again, it was Red Bull, boring. But the battle for third, it was great. So after Carlos Sainz told him, "No, senor, you are not overtaking me," then he defended like the Minister of Defense, like he was going to battle against Franco. Like this man had to fight with his life, and I loved it. And even though Ferrari told him, "No risk," Charles Leclerc said, "Suck my dick," and he still went on to try to fight Carlos Sainz in the last lap. And even though he tried the best he could, Charles Leclerc wasn't able to overtake him, and Carlos Sainz finished P3, even though the Tifosi will say that they love Carlos Sainz. They don't really. When he won at Silverstone last year, they were not happy for him. They were to a certain degree, but they were not really happy for him. And I want to see Carlos Sainz do great. He's an amazing driver. He's got experience. He's Spanish. They have wine and chicks. And so now Red Bull have gone on to win their 15th race in a row. Max Verstappen has won 10 Grand Prix in a row.
It's time to stop, okay? No more!
Are dominant like nothing has ever been seen before. It's even worse than the Hamilton domination era. And next week, we're off to Singapore, where I don't see a single reason why Max Verstappen is not going to make it 11 wins in a row. Because I don't see anyone beating this Red Bull, unfortunately. Even though I wish to see somebody else win a Grand Prix for once. Kind of like last year's Mercedes win in Brazil. That would be interesting, because Russell George was not meant to win that Grand Prix, but he did it against the odds. And I love to see that. I love to see an underdog win. Currently, right now, the whole field is an underdog to Red Bull. So just somebody, please win. Please win and put an end to this madness. Put an end to Max Verstappen. Put an end to Red Bull. Fuck.